Oh, yeah. Hi, everyone. So we are here with Todd Brady from Intel. We're so excited to have him. He's the Director of Global Public Affairs and Sustainability. John's going to lead off this interview.
So Todd, last year you made a big announcement at VERGE. So why don't you remind the audience what that was, and then how you've come along in the last year?
Yeah, absolutely. So last year at VERGE, we announced that we wanted to restore 100% of our water back to local watersheds by the year 2025. The idea being that today we use water from the local municipality, and today we send about 80% of that water back. We use it in our manufacturing operations, our facility systems, and then we treat it and then send it back to the municipality where it can be further reused. But we lose about 20% of our water to evaporation. And so as we looked at our broader impact on the community, we said, what could we do? Well, could we somehow make the community whole by doing projects outside of Intel that put water back into those same watersheds that ultimately we pull the water from? So that was the concept behind it. And so we're pretty excited to come back a year later and update everyone that we have funded over the past year about 12 different projects in Arizona, New Mexico, California, and Oregon, so where we have major operations. And once those projects are complete, we will have achieved about 40% of the goal in year one. So we're pretty excited about the progress that we've made so far. And what we found are some really cool projects that we've been able to identify and partner with some NGOs and other groups that really benefit the communities in which we operate.
So let's dig into them. I mean, what are a couple of the examples?
Yeah, one of the ones that's pretty innovative and interesting is in central Arizona. I'm located in the Phoenix area, and as you go north from Phoenix, you go up, for those of who know the area, you go up to Sedona and then up to Flagstaff. And on your way up there, there's a valley that's called the Verde Valley, and there's a river that flows through there. And it's a transition zone between desert and mountainous area. And it's a big farming area because there's not a lot of water, free flowing in Arizona. This is one area there is. The farmers have taken advantage of that over hundreds of years. And historically, the crop that's been grown in that area is alfalfa, which uses a tremendous amount of water and is a summer crop. And so summer in Arizona and a lot of water means that it's not the most efficient use of that water. So we've partnered with the Nature Conservancy and local agricultural group to shift their production from alfalfa to a cold winter crop, which is barley, and have linked into that local microbreweries who wanted to source barley locally, but traditionally there was no source of barley in Arizona. And so now there is, and that water, and there's significantly less water being used to grow a crop that can produce a similar revenue stream for the farmer, provide a benefit to the local microbrewery industry, and we're just excited to see all those different players come together, including the Nature Conservancy, including other companies who are involved in that project with us. It's an example of how when you get everybody together, you can really come up with a win-win solution where everybody benefits.
That's especially big news. I think it was on CNN yesterday, and in the Times there are articles about climate change reducing the amount of barley available, especially in Europe.
So, all right. Well, hey, we're producing it in Arizona, so we'll send it to Europe.
There you go. So I'm just curious, how does that work? I know you're doing it in terms of the local communities, I'm going to guess, where you operate?
Absolutely. So that's one of the key criteria in doing any of the projects is that it needs to be local. And ideally, we're targeting the watersheds from which our water comes. Now, that can be, we've extended that to the broader water basin. So for example, we funded another project in southern Utah. It's another agricultural project, which there is improving the efficiency of the irrigation systems. They were old and leaky and very inefficient, invested some money there. That water goes in from southern Utah. There's additional water that then goes into the Colorado River. Well, the Colorado River is a primary source of water in the Phoenix area, which we ultimately pull the water from. So we look at the broad watershed, and not necessarily myopically it has to be within 2 miles of our facility, but what the watershed is that feeds our facility.
So, we have a lot of corporation people watching and NGOs, and one of the challenges I think for people is how do you value water? I mean, how do you get permission to sort of make these commitments at Intel and apply a value to the water that you're putting back?
Yeah, in some cases, when we look at water in our own operations, we use a traditional ROI. We work with our finance teams. We crunch the numbers. That's where our money gets invested. This one was a bit more strategic in nature, and so when I pitched this to our CEO at the time, we looked more broadly at where are we operating around the globe, what are the potential risks for the communities in which we operate, and we also demonstrated that with a relatively small amount of investment, we could have a huge impact on the community. So the risk reward was very low. The risk was very low, the reward potentially very high in ensuring that the communities in which we operate had water. Water's critical for us as a company to manufacture our product. We have to have it. If we don't have water, we're not able to manufacture our product. So in that sense, it's almost an insurance policy by working with local communities to make sure there is sufficient water that our business will be able to thrive in the future as well. And so that was the discussion we had with our CEO when we invested in this water restoration.
So any advice to others who are looking to do more for their corporations?
Yeah, well, and particularly, and we would welcome any company to join forces with us. We're very open. I'll have to do a shout out to Coca-Cola. When we first started looking at this, Coca-Cola was a pioneer in this area. They were very generous in meeting with us and talking to us about their approach. We've tried to take a similar approach. We're publishing. We published our first annual report on the projects that we had done to date. We'll publish another one here at the end of the year. We've laid out our approach, how we go about identifying projects, what those projects are, who the partners are, try to be very transparent in an effort to invite others to participate with us. We don't see this as a competitive issue. This is a collaborative issue that we'd like to work with other companies.
That's really exciting. So we've been here with Todd Brady, Director of Global Public Affairs and Sustainability at Intel. Thanks, Todd.
Great to see you both.
Great solutions.
Yeah.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks.